All right, what's up, NRBC? You're about to watch our next bottle review. If you guys love this content like we do, please like and subscribe us. Subscribe!
What's up, NRBC? Newton here, and I got President NRBC Kerensky with me. What's up, bro?
What's up?
It's Friday night.
Yep.
We're about to hang out, and then we were like, man, let's make a podcast real quick. So we're actually making 3 podcasts tonight, which is kind of cool. But this one's kind of impromptu, so it'll be fun.
Nice.
What you sipping on, man? What you got tonight?
Well, it's Bottled and Bond Day, and it's Friday, and it's payday. I mean, I got the trifecta going.
I love it.
So, I can't decide if I should go with the Fresh Crack Friday, the McKenna, or just, sip on the old E.H. Taylor.
Why don't you combine the two and have an infinity pour?
That's not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea.
Dude, I've seen so many dudes doing that now. Like, I saw a guy the other day, he had a full barrel, and he was like putting early times and benchmark Bottled and Bond, and I just thought it was interesting. Like, that's happening,
Yeah, I was watching a guy. It was doing the Elijah Craig, the C922, and compared it with the A123. Scored them both, and then he had a little about a shot of each, so he combined them to see how it tasted, and it was good, but I don't think it was the taste he was hoping for.
I got you, man. Well, I'm gonna throw a curveball because I know it is Bottled and Bond, but dude, I've been sipping on this, man.
Yeah,
the Victor's single barrel straight rye. This is a good pour, man.
Yeah, single barrel's always vary, but that's been kind of tried and true. It kind of reminds me of I do feel like single barrels do have their own different taste to them, kind of like the Blantons tonight, which we actually didn't like. But interesting enough, I feel like every time I do this Henry McKenna 10-year, it scores it great.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Dude.
An underrated bottle.
Dude, so do me a favor, man. So, I remember when we first started drinking bourbon as a club, and man, there's certain things you need to learn about bourbon, right? Like, one, you got to respect it because it'll kick your ass, right?
Yeah.
But, there's other things, man, like when I first started drinking bourbon, I always heard people talk about single barrel, right? And this was just my maybe I just didn't know, but I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know that when they make a bottle, it's a combination of multiple barrels.
Yeah, they're small batch. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's interesting. Not every distillery does a single barrel. It's obviously easier to throw a bunch of barrels all together and come up with a small batch. You really have to have a big rickhouse to be able to, designate one bottle or one barrel for 200 bottles, and
right.
hope that it's good, right? I mean that's the problem. If you have if you're pouring 5 or 6 small batch barrels, if you have 1 or 2 that are decent, but you have 4 superstars, you're gonna get 1,000 great bottles, but
yeah,
you're taking a chance on one barrel and hoping. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy, man, because a couple of weeks ago, I was down in Columbia, South Carolina at a restaurant, and the name of the restaurant was called Bourbon. Like, literally, that was the name of it. It was awesome. And they had, every possible bourbon you can imagine. And they had a Buffalo Trace single barrel, which I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'll try it. It was like $13 for a 2-ounce pour. And, I love Buffalo Trace, but I could tell a difference.
Yeah.
In the single barrel. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I could. They do a lot of store picks. That was what we were hoping to get in the the lottery. Buffalo Trace releases one every year. think there's probably 30,000 people on there. I think I was like number 120 or something, crazy.
Mm.
And that's what they would do. They would barrel it and put our label on it, ship it to a local ABC store, and we'd have as many as we wanted. But yeah, I mean, store picks are what they are. It's what somebody likes, and it's not everybody's palate is the same. So
Yeah.
if the owner likes it and he bottles it, whatever, it is what it is. You just got to hope it's good.
Yeah. So dude, like, you started this bourbon club, what, 2020? It was like right during COVID.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I remember when it first started, and it was like we were all like isolated because of COVID, and I think we all just kind of got sick and tired of that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
dude, like, tell me, tell the audience, like, the process that you had of like starting the bourbon club, and then like where it's been, where it is, like, where do you foresee it going? Like, I mean, dude, we're just a bunch of guys drinking bourbon, but like, where do you see this thing going, man? Like,
Well, yeah, when we first started, it was 4 or 5 of us. We didn't really know what to do. I was trying to do some similar bourbons. I think the first bourbon we did was the Evan Williams, and then we did the Basil Hayden.
that's Peyton, my daughter. We're live. People see us.
Really?
Yeah. Uncle Anthony's talking about the club.
Yeah.
Come here. Come sit on my lap. This is how you know we're real.
The neat thing about we're just a bunch of dads drinking bourbon, right? We all live kind of in North Raleigh, and we all got together. The club was kind of cool. I've been wanting to start it for a while, and it's always nerve-wracking to pull the trigger, right? No one wants to actually follow through with it, right? You want a group of guys that stick with you for a long term. We've had a little bit of turnover, but we've had some consistent, probably 8 or 9 guys this whole time. So but yeah, we started. We didn't really know a lot to do. I got up with a guy who does it in South Carolina. He gave me some tips. We came up with some outlaws and some crazy scores, and we said, let's give it a shot, right? So we did it, neat and on ice, water, and then we ran with it. And it's fun because it's fun for me. Obviously, I do them blind. You guys always want me to try and do. The neat part for me now, when I pick bottles, I know who's going to like it, and I know who's not going to like it.
Yeah.
So that's the fun part for me. And I've noticed as we go, people's palates are changing, and I know who does like a higher proof. For me, I like that. As Reed says, that Kentucky hug, I love, I want to sip it and know it's bourbon, right? I mean, that's the whole point. So I want that punch on that first sip. I want that burn on the back end, right? I mean, that's the classic bourbon taste, right? Obviously you get some notes of whatever you taste in there, but for me, I like it. And right, we've done some Stag Juniors that are 130 proof, and everyone says, higher proof, it's just going to be hot, it's going to burn. That's not always true, right? Higher proof doesn't always mean it's gonna sting when you drink it. So
yeah, it's cool, man. Like, so for everybody that's watching, like, it's been really neat to see the club progress. So like Ant said, we kind of just started off like 4 of us just kind of sitting around drinking bourbon, and then it was cool. Like we started to notice how like big of a thing bourbon was, and like as just casual bourbon drinkers, there were times that we would go out and we would buy $100 bottle, and we hated it. Like, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And it's been cool. Like, I love the club, and I love the camaraderie with the guys, and like, we travel together and we do things. But like, I know now when I go to a liquor store, like, I'm not buying that bottle because I didn't like it. And it's cool. So like, if you go to our website, NorthRaleighBourbonClub.com, or YouTube channel, we do reviews mainly because we just like having fun, but also like for our audience, like, dude, go buy an Evan Williams bottled and bond that's $20 over a Blue Run that's $100.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's really, the kind of value we want to bring to the community. So Ant, like, what do you think? I mean, where do you think? I mean, dude, this seems crazy to even ask, but like, where do you think the club's going to be in 5 years?
I don't think Bourbon's slowing down at all, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo Trace just did their $1.3 billion expansion to pump stuff out as fast as they can. We can still keep it tried and true to that Buffalo Taste brand. So yeah, I hope that we can do some quarterly club meets with some guys that really want to get in, but obviously we have to keep it small. Like I said on one of the things, you get 12, maybe 13 pours out of this, so it really hinders how many people we can have in the club. And I know guys are upset, and they're getting a little annoyed with us, but none of us thought it was going to get this big this fast. So
we have a wait list of over 60 people.
Yeah. So I'd like to do some quarterly meetups. Maybe do. Obviously, we're not going to do some super rare bottles because I can't get them, right? But do some bottled and bond nights, do some rye nights. It'll be fun. Maybe get a food truck, stuff like that. The hardest part, of course, is going to be finding a location, getting that temporary liquor license for the day and stuff like that. Getting all the beer and glasses that we need. So it is in the works. I promise. I actually thought of a location today, and I just have to see if it logistically will work out.
Yeah,
but hopefully it does, right? And we got some swag. You got our hat on. I got our shirt on. So we want to start introducing some merch for guys and girls, of course, and put that out there, right? And do podcasts. I mean,
these are fun.
Yeah, this is cool, right? I mean, what's everybody doing on a Friday night? Nothing, sitting around. So jump on, talk about the week, and drink bourbon.
Man, speaking of talking about the week, I've got a good friend of mine. He's in South Carolina, and look, we all know the North Carolina ABC. Like, we're not going to trash them on this podcast, but it's a little difficult to get good bourbon, right? So if you're listening to North Carolina ABC, help us out. But
we need it.
Yeah, my buddy down in South Carolina, I was talking to him yesterday, and he always seems to pick up a bottle. Like, he got me a bottle of Elmer T. Lee. He got me a couple bottles of Trace and Eagle Rare, like a couple of Wellers. Like, man, stuff that, like, if you find in Raleigh or in North Carolina, like, dude, it is pure luck, right?
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, dude, how are you finding all these bottles? And he was like, honestly, man, so he's a sales guy, right? And he was like, I created relationships with these different stores.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, early on, I would go into a store and be like, you got any Blantons? You got any Buffalo Trace? Like, we all do it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he just started saying that. He just started creating relationships with people, and like, he'll know when stuff's coming.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're out there, like, dude, you might have somebody at your local liquor store that you can create a relationship with, and maybe nothing will come of it, but hey, you never know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I have a liquor store right by my office, and I stop in there. The other big thing too, especially in North Carolina, is finding out the delivery days, right? So the two stores I hit have Thursday deliveries, right? I know the store opens at 11. So I go in there, same guys there. Always say hi to him, ask him how his day's going, and then maybe I'll ask him, hey, you have anything allocated, or anything good on the truck today, or how do you think next week's going to be? And, all right, thanks, man. Have a great weekend. I that story you said about the guys fighting over the bourbon cream is hilarious, but it's true. I went into to the liquor store in Wendell, and my boss was with me. He's not a big bourbon guy. He's trying to get into it, and he goes, what are those guys doing standing over there? They're not looking for anything. I said, oh, the truck's in the back. They're waiting to see what's on it.
Yeah, dude.
And I walk up and I asked the lady, I said, you guys got anything, good on the truck today? And she said, no, not really. And I said, okay, those guys don't believe you. And she said, yeah, they don't believe me.
Jeez.
Oh, it's that kind of stuff is what kind of ruins this whole experience, right? Like, it's so fun walking in and finding something rare and being like, man, that's great.
Yeah.
Posting, telling your buddies, extra one or two in there, texting the group, say, hey man, if you want it, go grab it, right? And we obviously try to throw that up on our bourbon, North Raleigh Bourbon Club on Facebook and YouTube and stuff. The hunt. So
Yeah.
experience, right? I went to a liquor store in Pembroke. I think I was coming back from a work trip in South Carolina. Super nice lady. Talking to her a little bit, stretching my legs, and I actually saw a Buffalo Trace just on the counter, not behind the shelf, just out. It's amazing, right? That would never happen in Wake County.
Right.
So I grab a bottle and, strike up a conversation. Hey, I run a bourbon club in Raleigh. I appreciate you having the Trace on the shelf. She said, oh, you can grab as many as you want. And I said, no. I said, look, I'm good with one. I said, let somebody else come in and get that and get happy and buy it, right? Hey, it's Buffalo Trace. It's not a unicorn, but hey, if I see it, I buy it. Right?
Yeah.
So I left it there, and the lady said, oh, I have Eagle Rare in the back if you want one. And I said, yeah, I'll take one, right? So, if you didn't strike out that conversation, she wouldn't have gone and got that for me.
That's right, dude.
Just stuff like that. Be nice to these guys. They're just a messenger, man. They're not the ones pumping stuff out.
That's right, dude. It's funny you mentioned. So he was talking about. So I was traveling for work. I can't remember. It was a couple of weeks back or something, and I was going out towards Winston-Salem, and I stopped at the ABC store. Because like, man, when you're traveling somewhere, you plug it into Woz, like ABC. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just stop. And I was like, oh, there's one 2.2 miles away. I got to stop, right? So I walk in and like they had some stuff on the shelf, man. Nothing crazy. Well, I noticed when I walked in that they had the Buffalo Trace, the cream, right? And there was two dudes. Man, I'm telling you, when they were fighting over this, they were literally fighting over a Buffalo Trace cream. And the cashier, I swear, I wish I would have gotten it on camera. The cashier looked at these two dudes and said, y'all are two grown-ass men fighting over chocolate milk. And I just laughed. I was like, dude, that is so true. And it's like, it's so crazy how the craze is just like, it's nuts, man. Like fighting over damn Buffalo cream, Yeah. I mean, that shit is good though. I mean, I wouldn't fight anybody over for it, but that is pretty good stuff. It's pretty funny.
The other thing that I don't appreciate, and I think Wake County and Durham County are kind of catching on a little bit, is these guys that they know a drop is coming, and it's a Saturday morning drop, so they'll be first in line Thursday night. They'll stay in overnight for 2 days, and as soon as they go in the store and buy it, it's for resale and it's shipped out there. And it really just takes away from the whole experience, right? And look, I get it. It's a business to some of these guys and they make a ton of money on it. But it takes away from the whole experience. And it really is unfortunate that it happens. So I do appreciate how they're doing it now, right? Get in line. No need to stay overnight. Get a ticket and good luck.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate that. I hope that trend kind of continues because, I mean, all these ABC stores are usually in strip malls, right? So these other businesses don't want 8 or 9 dudes sleeping in their parking lot. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy, man. It is, and it's like to your point, man. Like that, and that's why I love our Bourbon Club because our kind of motto is if you got to drink it, right? I mean, like we have a lot of bottles, but it's fun. So when Ant hosts a bourbon club, usually whoever's hosting at that house or the location, everybody will show up like 45 minutes early and we'll have bottle kills. So if you got 8 bottles open with 2 ounces in each, like we'll crush them, but it's like, man, we drink it, right?
Oh yeah. Sometimes too much with a Thursday night meeting. Fridays are a little struggle, but that's okay.
Right. But I will tell you, there is a bottle in the Bourbon Club that will probably sit on the shelf for a couple years. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Right now, that's my retirement bottle. If I get something better, that will be my new retirement bottle, and we'll drink the other one. But you got a Pappy Lot B. I don't know what 4 or 5 months ago, I guess the
In Durham. Yeah.
Durham drop. Same thing. They picked 50 tickets, and then it was first serve. About 800 people in line. Probably I was picked 13th. It was funny because I had about 6 seconds to make a decision. Right, everyone was lined up, and there was a Thomas Handy in front of me, and the Lot B. And the guy in front of me, you could tell he didn't really know what he was doing, and he took the Handy, which I might have preferred. I don't know. It's a little higher proof. Get a little more bite and that Kentucky hug, if you will. So I probably would have went for that. Obviously, I'll take the Pappy, of course. No one will ever turn that down. There's some people on here that'll probably watch and comment and say that's not a real Pappy, but hey, look, it's a Pappy to me, and it's a Pappy to people. So it is what it is. Yeah, that's my retirement bottle. 4 more years, man. I'm popping that thing. And
I remember that experience. That was the first time I went to a lottery, and it was in Durham. And like Ant said, it was everybody got a ticket. You had to be there by a certain time. And there were some guys that camped out there since that Thursday, and that one dude was pissed. He had been there for 2 days.
Yeah.
And he was number 51 in line. So he didn't even get I think he maybe got a bottle of Bland's or something, but
I think he ended up with a E.H. Taylor barrel proof, which is a great bottle.
But not camp out for 2 days.
Well, he was going to get that Pappy 23 and sell it for $5,000.
Yeah.
That, hey, good for you if you can make that money, but it's illegal, and it just takes away from the experience, so that it just when guys do that.
I mean, dude, honestly, to segue, I mean, I had the Pappy 23 a couple weeks ago, and I mean, it was cool, drinking it, but man, it had so much oak. You could tell it sat in a barrel for 23 years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the Lot B, the one that you got, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
That shit is good. The 15-year was good, but that Lot B.
Yeah, it's good.
That 23 is intense, man. It's oaky.
Well, you age it for that long, you're going to bottle it and sell it. I mean, you're not going to throw it away. I can promise you that, when you probably only have about a third of the barrel left.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, this was fun, man. We got a couple other podcasts we're shooting, guys. So make sure subscribe to our YouTube channel, North Raleigh Bourbon Club. Check out our website, NorthRaleighBourbonClub.com. We're on Facebook, North Raleigh Bourbon Club. Hit us up. If there's something you want to see us record or a tasting or a podcast, submit, through our website. You can send us a message through our website. It'll come to us, and we take those seriously. So we just want to provide some value out there to the community, the bourbon community, which is real. It's big.
Yeah. If you guys like this podcast, how many people can we jump on here?
I think we can get 10 on at a time.
Outstanding.
So, shit, man, a bunch of dudes want to jump around on a Friday night and just talk about what we're drinking. Let us know.
Yeah, let's do it.
It'll be fun. All right. Well, we're going to go hop and do another one.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining in.
Later.